Okay, here's a level 8 rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. So to figure this out, we're just going to go and quickly look at level 5. Okay, here's a level 5 rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. So click on the shape to copy it, click on the rotate button, and we're going to go this way 90 degrees. Okay, so when we go that way, when we rotate 90 degrees, notice what's happening. The C prime is going to be, which was, sorry, by the way, it was -3, -1. It's now +1, -3. So let's see what happened to the x and y's. When we rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, the x and y switch places again, but notice what happened. We had a -3, -1. Okay, they were both negative. And then when the y comes to the forward, it becomes +1. Okay, so the y switch signs. Okay, the x before was -3, and then when it becomes the y, it's still -3. Okay, so the x didn't change signs, but the y did. Okay, so when the y came to the front and became the new x, it did change signs. All right, so we're going to do the same thing on a level 8 type question. Okay, let's go and find that level 8 type question, and here it is. So we're rotating 90 degrees clockwise. We're going to use that same mapping notation. So the A, which is -2, -4, we're going to switch those around, and it becomes, okay, when the x comes to the front, it changes, sorry, when the y comes to the front, it changes sign and becomes +4, -2. Okay, the B, which was -2, here, let me plot those points, 4, -2. So 4, -2, just like that. Okay, the B, which was -2, 0, the B is going to come down here, and it's going to become, we're going to switch those signs. So when the y comes to the front, it's going to switch signs, but it's a 0, right? So the -0 is still 0. So we get 0. The x goes to the back and keeps its sign. So 0, -2. So the B prime is going to be right here. The C is -6, 4. And then we're going to switch those around. The 4 is going to come to the front and become -4. And so we're going to get -4, -6. Okay, so -4, -6. Is that correct? -4, -6. Yeah, that looks right. And also it looks like the same shape that's been rotated. So this should be correct. Let me just point out that there's also another way of doing this. That you can look at your points, and you know where they're going to end up. If you rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, you know we're going this way. This way is counterclockwise, okay? And we're going to end up in the next quadrant. Like if you look at your C is in quadrant 2. It's going to end up down here in quadrant 3. And the x and y's flip, so we can just ignore the negatives. So we have, okay, 6 this way, all right? 6 to the left, and 4 up, right? So 6, 4. And the C is going to end up down here. Since we know it's going to be down here, we don't have to bother with the signs, which tell us whether we're going up or down, left or right. Okay, since we know what quadrant we're in, we can ignore the signs. So 6, 4 becomes 4, 6. Okay, and we went 4, 6. We went down because we knew that it was in this quadrant. That's why we didn't go 4, 6 and end up here. Okay, and that's it. Or 4, 6 and end up here, or 4, 6 and end up down here. We know what quadrant we're ending up in. So with the B, okay, the B is at -2. We rotate, -2, 0. We rotate 90 degrees clockwise. We're going to be at 0, -2. Okay, if it's on the x-axis and we rotate, it ends up on the y-axis. Okay, the same with the A. The A was down here in quadrant number 3. It rotates over to quadrant 4. So 2, 4 becomes 4, 2. Just from knowing what quadrant we end up in, we can ignore the negatives and not have to worry about the mapping notations. Okay? And that's it. Have a good day.